Welcome to our mini talk on many toxins from gut bacteria and yeast that are present in most children with autism. I'm Professor James Adams at Arizona State University, where I lead our Autism Asperger's research program. And so our new discovery is that 90% of children with autism have extremely high levels of many toxic metabolites from gut bacteria and/or yeast infections. One example is p-cresol sulfate. 17 studies of it in autism. Every study shows it's significantly elevated in children with autism. It correlates with autism severity, as shown in 3 studies. It's toxic to the gut, body, and the brain. When it's administered to animals, it causes autistic symptoms in those animals. We have discovered, in addition to p-cresol sulfate, there are many more toxic metabolites that are significantly elevated at levels above that of any typical child. Almost every child with autism has one or more extremely elevated metabolites, on average about 7. This is a plot showing the number of toxic metabolites in different children with autism, ranging from age 2 to age 11. The red triangles are the kids with autism, showing on average 7 metabolites that are extremely elevated in children with autism, levels above that of any typical child. Some children have just 1 or 2, some have up to 24. The blue squares are the typical kids. By definition, they have no extremely elevated metabolites. They are a reference range. This is a potential diagnostic test we've developed for children and adults with autism that's roughly 97% accurate. So these microbial metabolites are very toxic to the gut, the body, and the brain. They damage the gut, the brain, the mitochondria, which are the energy-producing factories in every cell, in every organ of the body, in the kidneys, in the immune system, and they affect the ability to detoxify substances. They all fall into 2 categories, either disrupting serotonin and melatonin or disrupting dopamine. So that affects your cognition, your attention and mood, and your ability to sleep. We've identified 32 different metabolites. They're due to a wide variety of different gut infections, but they have a very similar effect because they have very similar chemical structures. In very simple terms, children with autism are drunk on these microbial metabolites. They're up to 100 times more toxic than alcohol. Some of these microbial-derived metabolites, like p-cresol, can cause autistic symptoms in mice. And what's fascinating is that after those symptoms have occurred, fecal transplant from healthy mice recovers them, and they gain normal functioning. So if that works in animals, it's no surprise microbiota transplant helps humans with autism also. So our microbiota transplant therapy involves replacing very harmful gut bacteria with beneficial bacteria. Our study showed that we can decrease levels of p-cresol sulfate by 90% down to normal levels. And at the same time, MTT greatly improves gut and autism symptoms. It's a very promising investigational therapy with 4 successful clinical trials behind it. We're very excited at this hope for healing the gut and healing the brain. Thank you for joining me.